let's talk about one of the most astonishing economic stories of our time. It's called the Irish Exception. It's a story of how a small island nation on the very edge of Europe went from being one of its poorest to one of its richest. And how they did it is, well, it's complicated. To really get the scale of this, you have to picture what Ireland was like in the 1950s. I mean, it was practically a different country, an agrarian graveyard. The biggest export they had wasn't a product, it was their own people, who were leaving in droves just to find work. Now, fast forward to today, and the stats are just hallucinatory. We're talking a GDP per capita that makes economic giants like the US and Germany look small. The transformation is absolutely staggering. It's like two different planets. So, the big question is, what is this? Is this a genuine economic miracle? A brilliant act of financial magic? Or did Ireland build itself a beautiful golden trap? That's really the heart of what we're going to dig into. All right, so how did they pull it off? To understand the miracle, you have to look at the machinery behind it. It all started when they made a radical choice to ditch their old ways and embrace what you could almost call an economic cheat code. It all boils down to this one kind of brutal truth they finally had to face. For decades, they were obsessed with trying to slice up this tiny, tiny economic pie so everyone got a fair share. But eventually, they realized that if you want to feed everybody, you have to stop arguing about the slices and start baking a much, much bigger pie. The first job wasn't to redistribute wealth, it was to create it. And this was their sledgehammer to bake that pie. One single number. This is the key that unlocked everything. They set a corporate tax rate that was so low, it was practically a dare to the rest of the world. And it didn't just invite companies in, it unleashed a tidal wave. Honestly, their strategy was a masterclass. It was really a brilliant three-part playbook. Step 1, that crazy low tax rate. Step 2, they were picky. They didn't just want anyone. They went after the biggest fish in the sea, American tech and pharma. And step 3 was the genius part. They made themselves absolutely indispensable as the English-speaking bridge between the massive US economy and the massive EU market. But you know what happens when you become the hottest ticket in town for global capital? You start to find out that every magic trick has a hidden cost. And this is where the story gets a little darker, because all that shiny new wealth created some very real problems on the ground. So to really get what's going on, you have to understand this concept of phantom capital. Let me break it down. Imagine a giant tech company develops some amazing new software in California. But then, on paper, they assign the ownership of that software, the intellectual property, to their tiny little subsidiary in Dublin. So now, every dollar of profit made from that software from anywhere in the world can be legally routed through Ireland and taxed at that super low rate. The money is there, but it's not really there. It's a financial ghost in the machine. And just look at this chart. I mean, this shows you how extreme it is. How is that even possible? How can foreign investment be 4 times a country's entire economic output? Well, the answer is that phantom capital. Ireland effectively turned itself into the world's most profitable P.O. box, a place for corporations to park trillions of dollars. Economists, in a moment of, dark humor, came up with a name for this whole situation: Leprechaun Economics. And it's kind of the perfect name, right? It describes how these phantom profits, this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, make the national numbers look miraculously wealthy. But the reality for regular people trying to live their lives is a much, much tougher story. And this is the result. You end up with 2 different countries living side by side in one. Because that phantom wealth, it doesn't really trickle down. It creates this huge chasm. On one side, you have the highly paid foreign professional in a shiny glass office tower. And on the other, you have the local Irish citizen who's serving them coffee, living in a completely different economic universe. It's like the country is renting out its flag, and the cost of that rental is a deeply divided society. This deep economic divide then creates another, maybe even more painful problem. It's the ultimate irony, really. The very success that brought all this wealth and talent in started pushing local people out. Not by force, but by price. A new kind of exile. Now let's be fair here. What Ireland pulled off was nothing short of miraculous. For generations, their best and brightest young people had to leave the country to find work. It was a catastrophic brain drain. They completely reversed that. They invested in education, they became a brain hub, and they brought their own people home. On paper, it was a massive, historic victory. But here's the inevitable side effect. What happens when you flood a tiny island with tens of thousands of highly paid tech workers from all over the world? This happens. The housing market completely detaches from the reality of the local economy. Prices just launch into orbit while local salaries kinda don't. And that's the core of the trap right there. A house in Dublin isn't priced for a Dubliner anymore. It's priced for global capital. It's priced for a senior engineer at Google or Apple. For an entire generation of young Irish people, the dream of owning a home in their own country has become a mathematical impossibility. The numbers just don't add up. You know, there's a classic economic term for this. It's called Dutch disease. It's what happens when one part of your economy, in this case big tech, gets so supercharged with cash that it unintentionally ends up choking out everything else. It drives up prices for everyone and makes a normal life incredibly expensive for the very people who live there. So after looking at all this, where do we land? What's the final verdict on the Irish exception? Let's go back to our central question. Is it a miracle or is it a trap? The truth, of course, is that it's messy. You could argue that modern Ireland acts less like a traditional country and more like a giant, highly leveraged corporation. It played the global game brilliantly, using financial alchemy to get rich. But now it's caught in this kind of velvet trap of its own making. It's a nation propped up by global giants, facing a ticking time bomb of debt and gridlock, all while its own people are getting priced out of their future. Which leaves us with this one last crucial question. Is Ireland a genuine phoenix that has risen from the ashes to create a new, sustainable future? Or is it all a beautiful, fragile mirage? A stunning illusion built on a tax loophole that's just one global tax reform away from having the entire trap snap shut?